Hello, fellow fantasy gamers, and welcome back to my channel. We have witnessed one of the most entertaining round in Italian football. Two derby matches, few high-scoring games, one big comeback, a surprise, and of course, two goalless draws. That is the essence of the beautiful game played in maybe the most interesting championship in the world. The first two games of this round were extremely entertaining. Juventus dominated Lazio, and won with 3-1 at home. That way they climbed to the first spot in the rankings. Vlahovic and Chiesa scored again, but the defense conceded a goal which took out 4 points for the fantasy managers. The Derby della Madonnina will remain in history, and people will talk about it for years to come. Inter trashed Milan and gave them their first loss of the season. Mkhitaryan scored 22 points, and I don't remember somebody scoring that much points in one round. Ending the night, there was still time for one more surprise. Genoa took the lead with 2 goals, before the champions came back at the end of the game, splitting the points. Cagliari and Udinese shared the points too. Ending in a 0-0 draw is a good news for all the managers that have any of the defenders who played in this game. In the afternoon games, Monza and Lecce disappointed a little bit. Ending in 1-1 draw meant that the fantasy managers couldn't collect all the points from the defenders in this match. But the other game was full of drama. Frosinone came back against Sassuolo after losing 2-0. The final result was 4-2, and it showed everybody that the Serie B champions are not going to be the punching bag for their rivals. What we have to remember is that they defeated Atalanta in the second round. The goals for this game week didn't stop there. Fiorentina defeated Atalanta in an equal matchup, 3-2. What impressed me the most was the 16 tackles of Scalvini, even though he couldn't get points for clean sheet, and the night ended in the best possible way. Roma welcomed Empoli at the Olimpico and destroyed them with 7-0, taking their first win for the season. Empoli are still without a goal and without a point. Lukaku scored his debut goal for the Wolves and Dybala added 2 more goals. That was very good game for Roma, but the opponent couldn't react in the proper way. Closing the round, we've had another goalless draw. Verona managed to hold on the clean sheet against Bologna and took home a vital point. In the other game in Monday, Torino defeated comfortably Salernitana with 3-0. The Serbian midfielder Radonjic scored 2 goals and collected 17 points for his fantasy managers. In the dream team for this round, we have 3 players from Roma and Torino, and 2 from Frosinone, totaling 177 points, which is remarkable. But now let's move on to the ranking in our private league. For 4th round in a row, we have 4th different leader. This time, G-Boy Salah took the first position. But the last round leader Eldar, with me and Chimaubi are following him just 2 points behind. Adrian, Khalil, Mazen, Saif and Borcanio kept a place in top 10. The drop for John Bonino is continuing. Ishola and Salim are still struggling on the bottom, while Flora had a very bad round, which kept her in the second half of the table. Looking at the new leader, I see a very solid squad, and maybe if he do some work on the bench players, he will score even more points. And this is my team. Before the start of the round I benched Chiesa and Thuram, and I was very sorry about that after the first 2 games. Luckily for me, Awar is injured and Chiesa replaced him. I bought Di Lorenzo and made him a captain, but Napoli failed once again and I ended up with 7 points from 2 players. Then Christensen came and scored 17 points, Samardzic took 5, Koopmeiners scored a goal, and Rodriguez kept a clean sheet. I had less than 40 points until the Roma game, and that turned around the match day in my favor. Chimaubi has a solid squad and scored 83 points, which is second highest this round. Since Awar is injured, you may be looking to change him sooner rather than later. Eldar had another good round. He has venomous attack, but in my opinion the Sassuolo players are pulling his team back, as well as Posh. Adrian is keeping the Bonino family in top 10. I have to take back my words from last week, about Montipo. This round he did well. And maybe you need one more quality defender. Mazen used his wildcard and scored 73 points, judging by the last season results, that is above average. If I was at his spot, I would be looking to substitute Kandriva and Samardzic. Borcanio had a good round. All players from his squad played, but didn't contributed a lot of points. He had bad luck for this game week, but he chose the right captain in the face of Martinez. Khalil had used 4 players from the Milan Grands and did pretty well in that case. The problem was that Christensen with 17 points was on the bench. Saif chose Biraghi instead of Scalvini in the match between them. Fiorentina won, but Scalvini scored more points. And again Kandriva have starting lineup spot whilst playing for Salernitana. I think he will not score many more goals this season. The Emperor is back. That were the chant around the stadiums this week. Muhammad scored the most points in our league, but I would change the goalkeeper and maybe the Lazio players. Ask had bad luck this match day, mainly in defense, and if I was Vlahovic, I would be feeling offended. I would change Ruggieri, Duda and Sandro, and find better players in their spot. John Bonino continues to struggle with a very good players. He didn't have the luck of Khalil in the Derby della Madonnina. His Milan players scored -4 points. And that sended him outside the top 10. Ali is the newest manager in our private league. He enters with a team and he used the wildcard for this game week. He has a good squad and I'll be looking forward for his progress. Asim is making steps in the right direction. His team is beginning to score more points and I wouldn't change any players from his squad at this point. Even Kandriva fits well in this team. Hadji used his wildcard too. And this is starting to look strange. Everybody that uses the wildcard don't score big points. Tell me down in the comments, when do you think is the best time to use the wildcard? On the 16th spot is Flora's team. I don't know what exactly is wrong with this team. The fact is that, although she has scored 2 good rounds, she had 2 very bad game weeks so far. I would suggest selling Weah, Awar and maybe Oliveira, plus finding 1 top goal scorer. Vargas is the only one that used Vlahovic as a captain, and that paid off. The problem was that most of the other players underperformed, and he left Colpani on the bench. I am happy for Nicola in this round. His team did pretty well. The captain scored a goal, Pinamonti did very good, and he had Chiesa and Vlahovic scoring too. But he is another manager that relies on Musso between the sticks and Hernandez in defense. Nika's team performed 50-50. Few players scored good points, but others didn't. Maybe I would sell Strafeza, because he has been on the bench for the last 2 games. Frederick must be disappointed in his team. Totally underperformed this week. I would use the wildcard to change everybody if I was in his place. Lazio have bad schedule for next 9-10 games, and Berardi is just taking place and costing too much for that. I would advise Suya to take a look at new defenders on the transfer list. The attack and the midfield look solid, but I don't think that Dragushin, Carboni and Casali can bring a lot of points. Maurizio had better luck this round, but still has a lot of work due in order to switch things around. Cuadrado, Ramoni, Milik and Immobile are just taking space. Southwan has a very good team, with a very good attacking trio. Maybe needing just a little tweak to start collecting more points. Ishola had a good round collecting 77 points. The attack looks good for me. He has 3 defenders from the top clubs, and good midfield. Maybe the only problem is that Weah is not ready yet to be a starter for Juve. And on the last spot is Salim. He is something like a combination of all the managers in our league. He has a good squad, but just cannot collect enough points in order to climb the rankings. And again Immobile, Kandriva, Almqvist and Biraghi are in this team. I would like to know, what do you think about Kandriva? What is the reason to have him in your team? Leave a comment, I would love to read it. I am sorry about the delay in posting this video, but I was not in town. I wonder if it will be better if I post one video combining the preview and the review, or keep them separated. I would try to post a video if I make any transfers before the 5th round. Tell me if I need to do some changes in my squad in the comments. I wish you all good luck this weekend. Take care and God bless.